Jackson is a city on edge tonight with 5 shootings in less than 24 hours. We'll let you know what local law enforcement is doing about it.
Plus, a new claim of sexual harassment against Madison County Sheriff David Woolfork as another woman comes forward.
Now, from West Tennessee's News Channel, this is 7 Eyewitness News at 10.
Tonight, Jackson police officers saturate the city after 5 shootings in less than 24 hours, 2 of them deadly.
Not only were 2 lives lost, 2 others were injured, and 3 Hub City schools were affected, and not a single arrest. Tonight, in our continuing coverage, we take you live to the Jackson Police Department, where WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News reporter Natalie Potts joins us live with what officers are doing right now to stop the violence. Natalie?
Tonight, the department has tripled its normal number of officers on the streets. And they're not just patrolling by car. Today I walked with several officers through the housing complexes that are seeing an increase in violence. Jackson police walked through East Point Apartments and through Lincoln Courts. They're taking a stand against the gun violence that took a life at each of the complexes just hours ago.
Because, I mean, all this shooting going on, you know what I'm saying? Either of us could be standing outside and they just come through here shooting and we just innocent bystanders. They just get shot for no reason.
Police are working overtime, patrolling troubled areas with dozens of additional officers. It's a response similar to the department's checkmate saturation operations.
It makes me feel safer. It does. I think it's really needed.
Residents say the gun violence near their homes is out of control, with shootings and homicides in broad daylight. The families living here say they're desperate for protection.
It's just too much going on. Then these people don't think about these kids out here. These some innocent kids. These people don't care. We need more patrol out here. I'm scared to come outside. I can't believe I'm out here now talking to y'all.
I think it's a bunch of senseless acts that's been going on across town, and I think the violence needs to stop. There's children that have to play out here. There's families that have to live out here.
Police say they're working leads, trying to find answers and possible connections to the crime.
I think it's going to take for the community to stand together. And if you know anything, you see anything, let it be known. Don't be scared because you have to live here.
Officials say there is also a team working to piece together information about each of the shooting victims to see if any of the 5 shootings are connected. We're live in downtown Jackson. Natalie Potts, WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you very much, Natalie, for that report. Also, police are at this time not saying if any of those shootings are connected.
Well, this whole string of gun violence began yesterday afternoon around 2:30 at Royal Arms Apartments along North Royal Street. Both victims are recovering tonight. They told officers they were walking through the apartment's parking lot when they were shot at and chased. The 19-year-old victim was shot in the groin. A 23-year-old man was shot several times, but was able to be treated and released from the hospital quickly.
Then, just before midnight, a man was shot dead inside an apartment at East Point Apartments on Daughtery Street. Police say Alexander Merriweather was visiting someone at the apartment when he was killed. He was hit by a spray of bullets shot through the window of this apartment. Officers say he was sitting in the living room. Investigators have not confirmed if Merriweather was the intended target. Neighbors say they just want the gunfire to stop.
They was shooting over here and the bullet come through, like kind of through my window, where my little girl's window in the back there. So, and when that happened, this kind of scared me from staying over here because it's like it's continually happening.
We counted at least 15 bullet holes through the window inside of the building near the apartment.
The third shooting happened less than 2 hours later, around 1:20 this morning, less than a mile away at a home on Holland Avenue. Police say people were inside the home in the 80 block, but no one was hit, despite several rounds being fired at the house. Officers recovered casings outside the house and bullets on the inside.
Then at 6:20 this morning, just as students were headed to the bus stop, a man was shot to death at Lincoln Courts Apartments. Here's who police say died in that shooting, 26-year-old DeAndre Thomas. Police say he lived at the apartment where he was shot. They found him lying on the back porch. Paramedics took him to the hospital by ambulance, but doctors couldn't revive him. Neighbors say they're worried.
It doesn't make me happy. Right now I'm very nervous. I'm very just anxious, nervous, because I don't know what's going to happen next.
After the shooting, police say someone told them 4 armed juveniles got onto a school bus. Officers stopped the bus and searched it. Now, detectives say they didn't find any weapons.
Still, the Jackson-Madison County school system wasn't taking any risk, adding police patrols at Northside and Liberty Tech high schools. Principals at both schools say they felt no disruptions and classes went on as usual. Superintendent Dr. Verna Ruffin says she will always err on the side of caution.
We are very cognizant of things that may go on in the community, that we want to make certain that once students are with us, that they're very safe. So it could provide that kind of comfort in knowing that.
Dr. Ruffin said the district will continue to work with the police in any case necessary.
The fifth and final shooting in this string of violence happened just before noon today in North Jackson along Rushmead Road. Neighbors in the 900 block called 911 after hearing at least 4 gunshots. Police searched the area and a house but didn't find any bullets or shells. Witnesses say they saw a silver car pull out of a home. Nearby, Jackson Christian School was briefly put on lockdown, according to school officials.
This evening, several concerned citizens gathered in East Jackson to pray for an end to all the violence. Some prayed for their own safety, while others prayed for the families who lost a loved one in this rash of violence. Jackson City Councilman Johnny Dodd, who organized the prayer vigil, says it's time for the community to come together to combat crime.
It's time for us to treat this violence like an epidemic, like a disease, and get to the root of the problem. We continue and we want to have meetings. It's time out for meetings. It's time for action. It's time for this city to show up and do things that need to be done as a community, and we cannot do it without the community support.
Again, there have been no arrests in any of these 5 shootings. For the latest developments in all of these shootings, keep up with us on our Facebook page and Twitter with #WBBJ.
From McNeal County, 2 Mississippi men are behind bars tonight accused of stealing high-dollar electronics. Officers say Justin Justice and Anthony Fuqua stole a flat-screen TV, an iPhone, and 3 laptops from a home on New Hope Road. They were arrested in Mississippi. Both are now charged with aggravated burglary, theft, and vandalism.
New at 10, 2 new developments in the scandal surrounding Madison County Sheriff David Woolfork. We've learned another female deputy intends to file a sexual harassment claim against him. The county attorney received a letter today from an attorney representing Lieutenant Lisa Balderrama. The letter says a claim will be filed with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, but no other details of her allegations were released. Lieutenant Balderrama is assigned to court security at the Madison County Criminal Justice Complex. Also new tonight, Woolfork's attorney confirms his appeal hearing for the 1-year protection order awarded to Deputy Sharon Sangster is now set for December the 11th.
Today, voters in 2 West Tennessee cities go to the polls. One of them was in Humboldt, as voters there elected mayor and alderman and school board members. According to the Election Commission for Gibson County, more than 2,000 votes were cast in today's general election. Now, we have the winners in the contested races in today's Humboldt City election. In the race for mayor, a longtime incumbent and 3 challengers squared off for the city's top spot. So tonight, we can tell you that Humboldt has elected a new mayor. Voters chose Marvin Sykes, who defeated incumbent Alan Barker, and challengers Shane Lynch and Thomas Porter.
Voters also went to the polls to elect aldermen. In the race for alderman, Ward 1, James Shivers defeats Bobby Barnett 166 to 119.
And Ward 2, Leon McNeal wins over Lenford Carr 136 to 108.
In Ward 3, a close one as Billy Alexander wins over Don Graves 243 to 242.
Also in Ward 4, Bob Pruett is the winner with 352 votes, defeating Chuck Lovell.
In Ward 5, another close race with Donna Johnson and Herman Newell as Johnson wins by just 2 points, 167 to 165.
And in the race for Humboldt's School District Trustee in Ward 5, Charles Papa Chuck Samples defeats Calvin Porter 208 to 117.
Meanwhile, in McNeal County, voters in Selmer elect a mayor and alderman. And like Humboldt, voters in Selmer elect a new mayor. Incumbent David Robinson is defeated by challenger John Smith by 55 votes, 479 to 424.
And in the contested race for Selmer alderman, incumbent John Norris won with 481 votes, defeating Frederick Yarbrough and Neil Justice. Now, for a look at all of today's winners, go to our website, WBBJ-TV.com, and look for the results on our homepage.
And a good Tuesday evening to you, West Tennessee. Our forecast ahead does include some wet weather, but for the time being, we're still rain-free here in West Tennessee. Let's take a look at some of those temperatures outside, too, because it is pretty mild this evening. We have temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. Warmest right now in Memphis, they're at 63 degrees, and the Doppler radar is showing just a few showers off to our north and west in some southern parts of Missouri and also northern Arkansas. But we do expect them to remain rain-free overnight. It's going to be later on in the day on Wednesday. You're going to need that rain gear. We will be expecting it to be a wet commute, but a cooler end of the week is expected afterwards with plenty of sunshine from Thursday on through the rest of the week. This first look at the forecast is brought to you by David White's Body Shop with another look coming up in just a few minutes. Brad and Kelly, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, as the leaves continue to fall, why not save them?
We're talking about composting. Local lawn experts say it's an easy and cheap way to enrich your yards and gardens. WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News reporter Laura Bannon explains.
Raking the leaves from your yard can be quite a chore. Thankfully, there's a way to get a reward for the hard work, which is composting.
All the leaves are coming down, the grass all has to be cut back, and the plants have to be cut back, so it's the perfect time. You've got all these carbons and all these nitrate things that you can pile up and make a compost pile.
Composting is an environmentally friendly way of ditching leaves, branches, and other organic material rather than tossing them in the trash or burning them.
You're building the soil. Instead of putting commercial fertilizers down, you're putting actual organic materials back into the earth.
Composting can also save you money.
You know, because mulch is not cheap, and neither is soil amendment. So it's great. You can actually take all the biomass from the trees and the plants around your house and turn them into actually the best on the market.
If gardening just isn't your thing, JEA will gladly take your yard waste off your hands free of charge.
The city already has a curbside pickup program. You just rake your leaves to the curb and they pick those up. The wood chips are all generated here with Jackson Energy Authority when we trim our power line right-of-ways.
In Jackson, Laura Bannon, WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, leaf bags can be bought at JEA for $25 per cubic yard. They also say if you have waste that needs to be disposed of, you can drop it off at the wastewater treatment plant.
Well, hundreds of people came out to Jackson-Madison County General Hospital tonight to talk concussions. The hospital brought in 3 doctors from Vanderbilt to explain to the parents the importance of concussion signs and the symptoms. They also explain possible ways to prevent injuries. Officials say that early detection is crucial.
You know, you've got to take care of that child first, because later down the road they may not be able to host or have a normal family life because of the things that had happened that could have been very preventable.
New child safety laws will be enforced starting January 1st. Union University students get a lesson in life today after an entire school gives back.
And a story that might have you thinking about emptying your spice rack. Stay with us.